And we are live. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the HackSmarter Twitch channel, or if you're watching this fact, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Tyler. I get to hang out with you this evening, and we are going to continue working through the Red Team Capstone created by TryHackMe, specifically created by my good friend Amoeba Man. So super excited to dive into it for night number 2. Before we dive into it, let me just recap for those of you who may have missed the previous stream, do not know what the Red Team Capstone is. This is a full network with, I believe, 14 different hosts, and our goal at the end of the day is to hack the bank. We want to make a fraudulent transaction abusing the Swift banking back-end system, and in order to do that, we first have to breach the perimeter, get a foothold on the internal network, escalate our privileges, ultimately probably domain admin, do some enumeration from there, and get goal execution. So this is not a typical CTF. There are multiple paths to victory, and we are going to take our time to go slow and learn through the process. Now, a few things I need you to be aware of as you are joining. First, if you're looking for like a super elite hacker, I am not the guy, right? I am a pen tester, but I've only been a pen tester for 7 months, and I do web apps. I don't do red teaming, at least not yet. And so just know that I'm taking it slow, and my goal, even if I don't succeed, even if I don't actually hack the bank, my goal in each stream is I want to learn something new, and hopefully you learn something new as well. The second thing I need you to be aware of, and it kind of goes with the first one, is I have not pre-prepped this room, pre-prepped these machines. I have not looked at this room since I was on it last night live streaming. So the only time I'm going through this network is when I'm live with you guys, so you can see my first reaction to everything I encounter. A lot of content creators, when they go through rooms on TryHackMe or Hack the Box, they go through the whole thing ahead of time, then map out their notes, and then do like a 10-minute walkthrough, and you're left just confused because you're like, how did you come to that conclusion? How did you find that CVE? How did you write that script? You just have no idea. So I do it a little bit differently. I just stumble through it live. I have no fear of looking like a fool because I've gotten used to it. It's tough truly to live stream because you know people are watching your screen, and I don't know about you guys, I have this tendency when I know people are watching me, I forget the most simplest things and I miss things that are right in front of me. So here's where I need your help. As we approach this room, I want us to be a team. So I always tell my kids, super cheesy, but teamwork makes the dream work. So we are Hack Smarter Security. We're going to say we are our own pen testing firm, and the pen testers are me and all of you who are joining me, especially those on live stream. On YouTube, you can't really help me that much because you're watching it after the fact, which is why you should join me live. I will be live basically every night this month around 9 p.m. Central Time, which is right now. We're going to go for about an hour and a half is the goal. But guys, I want this to be a team, so feel free to communicate in the chat things that I should try, ideas that you have, things that I missed, things I should enumerate better. And I'm the person on the keyboard, but I want us to work through this network together and to learn together. So all that being said, let me share my screen. Let me check out the chat. Pluto said uploaded yesterday's walkthrough yet on YouTube. I did, my friend, and I will actually post a link to my YouTube real quick for those of you in the Twitch chat, just so you have it. So 1 second, I'm gonna grab that for you and I'll drop it. If you can, be awesome. Please subscribe. It really doesn't do much for me. So if you ever get ads on my videos, guys, it's because YouTube makes them. I turned off monetization on my YouTube channel because I got sick of the ads. So I have no monetization on my videos. It's really just a way to give back to the community. So if you do get silly ads, you can blame YouTube. Don't blame me. I just dropped a link to my YouTube channel. The other thing, guys, I want to share with you, I should have had this prepped ahead of time. I'm going to pull up Discord. I have a Discord community. I don't know what monitor this is going to pull up on, called the Work Smarter Community, which is kind of the Hack Smarter is the ethical hacking arm of the Work Smarter community. And one thing that I think sets apart our community, let me grab an invite link real quick, then I'll keep talking. Hard for me to multitask. Using the servers, I'm going to say expires never, generate a new link, copy. All right, let me go back to Twitch. The one thing that is unique about the Work Smarter community is I host a meeting every Monday night. So the one time I won't be streaming here on Twitch this month is Monday night because I'll be hosting that meeting, and it happens in our Discord voice chat at 9 p.m. Central Time. So right now, and in that meeting, we encourage people to answer 2 questions. It's really a goal-setting meeting. What did you accomplish this past week? What are your specific learning goals for this upcoming week? And kind of a third question, did you meet your goals previously? And if not, what changes do you need to make to your schedule, to your discipline so that you better meet your goals? A big focus of those meetings is IT and pen testing. And so if you have questions about being a pen tester, getting into cybersecurity, I host those meetings, would be happy to hang out with you. And it's not just Twitch where I'm talking at you. We can talk back and forth and have a conversation. Or if you're completely new, there's never any pressure to participate. So in those meetings, you can literally just join in. You don't have to turn on your mic, and you can just hang out in the background and see what the meeting is like. So just know that I will be hosting that this Monday and all Mondays after that at this same time, 9 p.m. Central, in that Work Smarter Discord community. So go there, drop in the intro, let us know who you are, tag me in it, let me know I sent you, and I would love to be the first person to welcome you to our Discord community. All right, I think that's everything I have by way of introduction. Let's pull up our notes and very quickly recap where we were at yesterday. So yesterday we spent a lot of time reading through our scoping information, taking notes, which is really important when you do a real pen test. You have to know what your scope is and what your scope isn't. We spent some time enumerating the web server. We found a few possible attack paths on the web server, but if you look at the network map right here, we have 3 servers that are public facing or internet facing. We have the web server, a VPN, and webmail. Those can all be accessed from the outside internet, and that's kind of what we are. We are the outside internet, outside attackers. We have to breach the perimeter first. So we enumerated the web server, we enumerated the VPN, and if you remember when we enumerated the VPN, we found an open VPN config file which gave us access to 2 machines on the internal network. This work 1, which I'm assuming is a workstation at .21, and this work 2, which is also a workstation on .22. Both of these workstations have SSH open, SMB open, and RDP, remote desktop protocol, open. And that's where we left off the stream. And in this stream, I have kind of a plan A and a plan B, because like I told you guys, I don't prep this ahead of time. I don't know what roadblocks we're going to run into. I don't know how stuck we're going to get. We're going to begin our stream performing some active directory enumeration. Let's see if we can get a foothold on the AD network internally on the network. Can we get creds? Can we get a machine? Can we take it over and get a foothold? So that's plan A. If we cannot get a foothold on the AD network, we're going to go back, because what I like about this network and what Amoeba Man said in the intro, if you remember, is if you get stuck on one attack path, find another attack path, because there's multiple ways to victory. So if we get stuck on our AD enumeration on the internal network, we're going to jump back into the VPN or the mail server. I haven't even looked at the mail server yet to see, hey, what information can we find on these? And we'll go from there. So, sound like a plan, everybody? I should have asked you guys. I'm assuming you can hear me okay. I don't have headphones on. I don't have any way of monitoring my chat. I would assume like y'all would be yelling at me if you couldn't hear me. So if you guys can hear me okay, if sound is good, video is good, if you can just let me know in the chat, I'd very much appreciate it. I'm a one-man team with the audio and the video and the chat. It is just me running things tonight and, well, most nights. Let me get these notes. Oops, get these notes pulled back up. We got work 1, work 2. So what we actually need to do now, what I did, there's our usernames. I connected to the main VPN. So this is just the VPN for this. And I did see on Discord, some people in TryHackMe were having issues with this network. I don't know. I haven't even actually tested this yet. Callie Max, my friend, told me, hey, you should always test before you go live. And I said, it's more exciting if you just go live and see what happens, right? So let's see. All right, we can ping that stuff. That's good. And I have this VPN file that we discovered in our previous stream on that VPN server. So let's see if we can get connected to this again. I think this may have been where people were having issues. Let's see if it works for me. Oh, Amoeba Man just said it's intentional, though, the stability issue. Oh, very cool. He says, if you think about it, and it is intentional. So now I don't know what aspects people are at, but so Amoeba Man saying the VPN issue that people have been encountering is intentional, I suppose, to make it feel more like a real world environment. And like maybe the machines are shut down, the employees shut down the machines, maybe the VPN got disconnected, VPN shut down. That's cool. Well, it's not cool, I suppose, if you're the one encountering the frustrations. I think that we are connected. We are connected to VPN. I'm going to rename this. We'll just call it internal VPN. And I should say, what up, Amoeba Man? Main man said, can you share your THM VPN with others? I don't think so. I mean, I suppose you could. I don't know. I guess I don't know why you couldn't. I don't have a password or anything on it. I mean, it's tied to my username. It's tied to my access. Yo said, can you share your password? I cannot share your password. Cannot share my password. And me man said, why can't you share it with others or run it twice? All right, let's think about this. One of the reasons we can't share it with others is often the VPN is tied to our name, our credentials. So for TryHackMe, the VPN is tied to our TryHackMe account. And the reason you can't share it with others is you probably can't have the same user on one VPN trying to access stuff. That's my best guess. I mean, man, tell me in the chat why I'm wrong and enlighten us. I want to see just for now if I can actually ping. No, we couldn't ping these machines before, but we could nmap them. I want to see if we can nmap them. We'll just do P, that, and then dash capital P, lowercase n means ignore host discovery. Remember, these are Windows machines. Windows Firewall by default ignores pings. And cool, we do have access to these two machines in the internal network. So if we pull this up, these machines are still live. Our VPN is still working. And we will see what happens. What we're going to begin with, guys, is Active Directory hacking. Now, there's a few really good resources on this. I should let you guys know, it wasn't too long ago that I was a total noob to AD. I still feel like a noob to AD. But when I was prepping for the OSCP, I realized like I need to learn Active Directory. One of the best learning resources, guys, is directly from TryHackMe themselves. They have a whole list of AD networks created by the same author of the Red Team Capstone network, Amoeba Man. Those are really helpful in my understanding of AD. The other resource I found helpful is Hack the Box Academy, which is once again a paid subscription, has a module as well on Active Directory pen testing, which I also found helpful. And then just doing the OSCP. Honestly, the Pen 200 content, at least when I did it, wasn't that awesome on Active Directory. It was lagging behind in some areas. I know they've updated it recently. I have not seen the new material, but if you have access to the Pen 200, especially the new material, they might have some solid material as well. So some good places to learn AD. And one plug for a YouTube video that me and Amoeba Man made. We made a YouTube video on how to set up your own Active Directory pen testing environment locally so you can learn AD. Go to my YouTube channel, search for it, and you will find it. All right, over in the chat, guys, I'm not talking to myself. I run my THM Hack the Box OVPN. I think this is Cali Max. Cali Max, let me know if that's you. I'm pretty sure it's Cali Max, or our Twitch just got hacked and it looks like I'm talking to myself. But I bet it's Cali Max, one of our other streamers hanging out with us on Twitch. It's me. Okay, cool. What's up, man? Did you order your shirt? I should ask you that. Your sweet Hex Murder shirt. I was just talking and lost my train of thought. What are we doing? AD pen testing? Okay, let me go to, where's my hacking guide? Here's my hacking guide. We have our attack map here. We'll look at that. I do want to look at this. So we have this external recon and enumeration principles. This is just an explanation. That's not going to help us much. Initial enumeration of the domain. Here are some things that we can try. So we could fping active targets. Like, I don't know if I've even done this before or if it will work on our environment that we have access to right now. Let's see what else we send. Our scans have provides with the naming standard used by NetBIOS and DNS. We can see some hosts from RDP open and they have pointed us in the direction of the primary domain controller. I mean, we can try this on the network that we have access to. I don't know if we have access to more than just these two machines. But we could find out if we do, because we're adding routes specifically for those two machines. I don't know. Let's give it a shot. I've never even done that specific scan. So let's see what happens. I'm going to just pull this over here so I can look at it. And we'll go here. Let me go to my TryHackMe folder and Red Team Capstone folder. And we'll begin with some initial enumeration. So it looks like we'll do fping ASGQ. What does that even mean? Does it tell me? let's run help. I'm just curious what each one of those flags means. So we are doing ASGQ. AS is alive, show targets that are alive. Okay, A, B, C, D, E, F, this is out of order. G is generate target list only if no F is specified. And we have S as well, lowercase s, which is stats, print final stats, okay. And is Q like quiet mode maybe? Quiet, okay. That makes sense. So we'll do fping ASGQ. Looking over the chat to make sure I'm not going to get banned at all. Sweet. My last stream, I almost scanned an internet IP, and the meme man's like, "Oh, slow down. You don't want to get banned on your first stream." So just making sure he's not yelling at me in the chat, telling me to stop what I'm doing. These are internal IPs though, so I don't see any way that I would get myself banned here. And now we can try something like 10.200.113.0/32. One target alive, one unreachable, 0. Okay, that's not going to work for us. Oh, because it's pinging, I suppose. And like I said, I'm pretty sure we just have access to those two machines, so we're gonna skip that and keep moving through here. Element R poisoning. I mean, this might work. So it all depends on how TryHackMe has this set up in the background. But in a real engagement, if you're on a company's internal network, whether you're like sitting on their premise and you're plugged into an Ethernet port, or you have a VPN connection, if you can read traffic going through, you can do LLMNR or MBTNS poisoning from Linux. And here you can see a very quick overview of this attack. And I'm just going to read through this so we understand what's going on. So an example of this attack is a host attempts to connect to a print server, print 01, but accidentally types in printer 01. So instead of print 01, printer, almost like typo squatting on a website in some ways. The DNS server responds stating that this host is unknown. The host then broadcasts out to the entire local network. And if we have access, if we're on the local network, which I think we are with our VPN, asking if anyone knows the location of this, the attacker, which is us with responder running, responds to the host stating that, hey, we are the host that you're looking for. The host believes this reply and sends an authentication request to the attacker with the username and Intelium v2 password hash. The hash can then be cracked offline or used in an SMB relay attack if the right conditions exist. So let's see what happens on this. The first thing that we need to do is look at what we have. So I believe this is going to be our listener on the internal network. And that's the IP, guys, that you don't want to scan or do anything with. But that's the IP. It gave us to access those two machines at a minimum. We might have access to more. I do not know for sure. But we'll set that as our listener. So we'll do sudo responder-I, and then it should just be ton0, I believe. Type in my sweet password. And this guy will kind of run in the background. We'll just call that responder, and it's going to listen. Now, in a real engagement, and for those of you in the chat who know these things better than I do, feel free to correct me or add a little more clarity on this, because once again, I've never done this in a real engagement. I do web apps. I don't do network stuff yet. But in a real engagement, the best time to do this is in the morning. So 8 a.m., 9 a.m., when people are first showing up at the office and they're first making connections to shared drives throughout the network, or trying to print documents, and they're making typos, they haven't had enough coffee. That's the best time to use this. You don't show up at the office at 7 o'clock at night when nobody is online, because this attack requires people moving around in the network and making requests on the network. So in the real world, we'd want to do this in the beginning of the day when we have more people online. Let me get a drink of water. Let's keep going. We'll let this thing just do its thing in the background. We'll check on it occasionally. And let's continue with what we can do. So this is from Windows. We don't have Windows, but of course, if you have a Windows box instead of a Linux box, maybe the client provides you with a Windows machine, that's all you have. You can also use Responder in this way. As Krath said, sorry guys, I'm not paying attention to the chat very well. He said, I do tend to use Responder when I don't have a foothold on the network. Oh, you mean like when you're internal to the network? I thought you meant from the internet. Obviously, it doesn't work from the internet, but yeah, if you have a VPN on the internal network, but you don't have a foothold, you don't have any creds, I think Responder is a good way to do it. Once again, speaking from reading and doing labs, not from my own real world experience. Oh, okay. I'm gonna. For those of you on YouTube, you guys are missing some gold in the Twitch chat. So I actually want to read through the Twitch chat for you guys, because Amoeba Man is explaining why the stability is not a bug, it is a feature. I'm gonna scroll up. So he said, why can't you share it with others or run it twice? Speaking about VPN, he said it's tied to a user cert in the VPN, and VPN server can only establish one connection with one client cert at a time. So if you find a random VPN file on the network with a single client cert, what could affect stability? Well, of course, other people using that VPN. So guys, get off my subnet, you scrubs. I only update my network. I'm just continuing to glance through here. Ranger said, are you saying that I need to insert my THM cert as well from the downloaded VPN file from THM? Amoeba Man said not THM cert, but VPN client cert. That file has a single VPN cert, but if another user tries to use it, then it will create a conflict similar to what you would have in the real world if you ran a user's VPN and that user is trying to use their VPN. And Ascraft said, if, for example, you manage to retrieve someone else's VPN and that person is currently logged in, you might get restarts trying to use their VPN file. Man said, bingo. So Ascraft said, so a possibility is to retrieve another user's file. Ranger said, oh, how do I get one? Since the web app allows that, similar to what would happen, that is a question you must answer for yourself. And the meme man said, hope that explains it a bit. Again, we spend a lot of time here. What might be perceived as a network error might be very intentional to simulate a real world. And that's important, right? I mean, man, you said from the beginning, both in our offline chat, but as well as in the room introduction, this is not a CTF. It simulates a real world environment, even with these kind of stability issues. And then Amoeba Man said, I can't dump spoilers on Discord or even on here how you need to solve it, but you can solve this issue. Cali Max said, so it's kind of like everyone trying to talk on the same channel, very noisy and going to lose packets. And Amoeba Man said, yep, but even worse, it closes the entire channel since it only allows a single channel. Very enlightening stuff, guys. Here's what you missed by not hanging out with us on Twitch. You're welcome, those of you on YouTube, that I just read to you the conversation gold, especially those complaining about stability issues and getting mad at the network. Ranger said, Tyler, you got a special network without this issue. Must be because I'm streaming. They're like, we don't want Tyler to rage quit on stream, so we're going to be nice to him. Now Memeo's probably going to log in and just use his VPN just to screw with me so everything breaks. Looks like this may not be the way to do it. You can see that we're not getting any events. We'll let it continue to run in the background, and let's keep glancing at our notes. As I said before, we're going to start with Active Directory. If I can't figure it out, we're going to jump back to some of those other machines. I think Amoeba Man said I got to compromise the web server anyways to get one of the flags. So we might go poke at some of the web servers a little more. All right, enumerating password policy. So this is only if we have user creds. We do not have user creds. We could try it null. I'm quite certain that's not going to work because I couldn't do anything null. But we can try it with RPC client -u. We'll send null there. And we don't know the domain controller, actually. That's not going to work. And new for Linux, that didn't work. LDAP anonymous bind. Once again, we don't know the domain controller. Power view. Password spraying. I do have a list of valid users. Internal password spraying from Linux. So we still need the domain controller to do anything with this kind of thing. Local admin reuse. So some of this, honestly, all of this, we're not going to be able to use until we first identify the domain controller. And then if we can get some valid credentials, like if we find some valid credentials doing web app pen testing, maybe looking at the mail server, if we can get valid credentials there, maybe through phishing, then a lot of these attacks will work better. Let's go ahead and glance real quickly. Oh, let me scroll down. Glance over the chat. Ascraft said, how did you get the client VPN file? I found it on the VPN server. If you run GoBuster on there, you'll be able to find it. Or if you watch my previous stream, I'll walk you through it. He says, so we do have creds. We don't have creds. We just have a client VPN file. And Team Matron said, good stuff. I love the interactivity between everyone. Yes. Okay. Cool. I think everybody's caught up in chat. But once again, guys, I'm totally good with the chat. Like, this is the purpose of a live stream, is so we can interact with each other. I'm not in a rush to go through this, right? I will do my best to be interactive and take it slow. We have a lot of time. I'm planning on streaming, guys, like literally every night with the exception of Monday when I'm going to lead that meeting. But as a result, we have a lot of time to play around in this network. And when I score myself a business account and TryHackMe, we'll do it. We'll do well. So if we look at this, we have a few things here that we can do. You know me, man, the one thing we haven't done is Eternal Blue. I'm guessing it's not Eternal Blue. I used to, when I was first learning Active Directory, every AD network that we would do, I had no idea what I was doing, so I would just fire off Eternal Blue, and if that didn't work, I'd give up. I'm pretty sure it's not Eternal Blue. Find the DC IP. Ooh. That looks cool. Ventral Dio said, I'm new here. Those notes look golden. Are those by any chance shareable? So I did used to share my full OneNote out. I don't anymore, but one of the members of our Discord community actually put it on GitHub. All of my notes on GitHub combined with his notes. So join the Work Smarter community and tag me on there, and I will get you that GitHub link. If you don't have a link for the Work Smarter community, I'm going to drop it in Twitch one more time so you guys have it. Here you go. Me-Man said, one of my networks, I'll make that an Easter egg. I would very much appreciate it. I would then look like Elite Hacker if you would at least make one of these Eternal Blue, so I don't have to struggle my way through it so much. What are these commands? So to find the DC IP. And I just dropped the link to the Work Smarter community. Guys, come join, come hang out with me. Post in the intro that you're there, tag me in it, and I'll find those notes for you. Oh, I don't think that's doing it for us. Show domain name and DNS. Because our IPv4 address here is a real IP. We don't want to play around with that. And then here are the two machines that we have access to. It's not showing us the gateway or anything like that. So maybe when we get better access, we'll be able to do it that way. So I doubt this other script will work either. Equals SRV. Oh, we don't know the domain. Well, we do know the domain. Corp something, Red Corp, Triventa Corp, something Corp. Where is our? Yo, I got too many notes. Where's Red Team Capstone? Am I blind? Trimento. There we go. What's their thing called? Here, this is what it's called. Can't find it. Okay, so we're not going to be able to get the domain name from there. Let's see if there's anything else we can do. We already tried to list guest access. That's not going to work for us. There is no guest access. Enumerate LDAP. We don't have access to LDAP. So that's not going to work. Find a user list. Clay Hack said, just tuned in, still waiting to get my 7-day streak before I can tackle this network. Sweet, man. Well, it's good to have you here. You can live through me and help me, dude. I need all the help you guys can give me. We can't do the user list thing because we don't have access to Kerberos. That's going to be more in the domain controller. We're already trying poisoning on those 2 workstations that we have. I doubt we can coerce SMB. What's Responder doing? Nothing. Okay. I'm going to switch over to plan B. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time enumerating AD yet because there's a few key pieces that we need in order to enumerate AD. Now, what we do have, though, is we do have some usernames. So if I go to my TryHackMe, we have these usernames. Oh, you can see it pulled the month as well. So on the website, which did I ever fix my Etsy host file? I did not fix it because, like I said, guys, I haven't done this since we were on stream. Let me delete that because that's going to be an internal one. We called it the reserve.thm. On this website, when you go to meet the team, what we found is each one of these images is connected to a name. So she's my favorite person. She's the friendliest person I've ever seen. We have Brenda Henderson. So what I did is I was able to list directories, if I remember right. So like if we go back to this in images, all I did was copy that down, then ran a very simple bash script to pull out just the names. You can see it also pulled out October. So we do have usernames here. So if we could figure out a password or a standard password they might use, we could do some password spraying and see what we can do there. All right, looking over the chat, Amoeba said, Tyler, it may be worthwhile to take a step back and just recap what info you currently have, then based on that, decide what next attack path to follow. You are trying to attack the DC, but you don't have access to the DC. Good point. Ashcraft said, check the web server, do some OSINT, maybe WebVone. Also, poisoning for LDAP and TLM will not work via VPN because you can't, with the LMNR, race on a VPN versus LAN. Gotcha. Thank you for the correction, my friend. Okay, let's step back and see. Let's take Amoeba's advice. What we have so far. We have a web server. Now, the one thing I didn't do on this web server, guys, that I need to do is we know it's running the web server, but is there any other ports running on it? Probably not, but let's let this run in the background just in case I miss something. I mean, besides SSH, we know SSH might be running. While that runs, let's go ahead and recap what we have so far. We have this web server. We checked for vhost, directory busting. We saw that we had user enumeration. We have possible phishing because it said like, hey, here's send applications to this email. We saw, and this is what stood out to me. We're on a demo page, and every request we make is passing what appears to be a JWT session token. Like we have authentication somehow to this website. We have directory listing on the images, and we could actually go back and have directory listing on everything. We learned that it's October CMS, and then here were the possible attack paths we discovered. We have username enumeration for phishing or brute force attacks. We have possible phishing on this email with a malicious macro designed as a resume. We know we have October CMS. We should check for vulns, especially RCE. We know there's a session cookie being passed, and PHP info is being exposed. Possible version enumeration if needed. On the VPN side of it, we saw that it was a standard login screen, and that's where we found our open VPN config file. And there was another interesting thing called VPNs that said, hey, go here for your VPN. So actually, if we copy this, and I'll show you guys what I was talking about there. Here's that VPN there, but if we change this back and go to VPNs, it says VPN files will be stored here. If we go to just VPN, we have this. Of course, if we go here, we have the login right here. Your internal account should be used. So we could see if we got access to the VPN portal. The other thing, guys, I haven't enumerated is the mail server. Before we enumerate the mail server, I do want to spend just a little bit more time on this web application, just for fun. We know it's a demo. I'm going to get Burp Suite open because I want to look at that session cookie a little more as well. We'll use Community Edition, the free edition, so anyone and everyone can follow along. Ah, my eyes. Happens every time except for in my Pro Edition because it remembers my dang settings. User interface, display, dark, 16. Beautiful. And we'll just open Burp's browser because I always forget. Clayhack said, did you look at that JWT token of JWT.io? Yep, I did. It was nothing super interesting. But let's go ahead and grab like something like this. And even if we make a request to this, I bet it's passing that token. Oh, no, it's not. But if you guys see, if we go to this actual website, oh, is it not passing it there either? Oh yeah, so there it's setting our cookie right there. As soon as we go to the website, it's setting this session cookie in order for us to access things, which is just out of the ordinary. I mean, sometimes they'll use a cookie to track you, but not usually a session cookie stored in a JWT, because there's some attacks that you might be able to perform with that. Bean Machine said, "Yo, Tyler, I really, I think appreciate FW your content. It has pushed me to finally start learning about cybersecurity. Keep up the good work, bro." Thank you, my friend. Glad you found it helpful. And like I always say, guys, I am far from an expert, so I'm here to learn, just like you guys are here to learn. I'm just the one with the mic. Clay said, "What vhost did you find?" I don't think we found any vhosts on this one, on this server when we scanned it. If we do go look at that token, I'll just show it to you. Grab this token here, drop it here. So here's what it looks like. It has what it seems to be like an initialization vector, a value and a MAC, but it doesn't have a payload, so maybe it's not actually a JWT token. It's weird. Let's just copy that. Well, obviously not that, but hey, I'm trying to get the IV of the Laravel session, but I can't find a way to do it. I know it's base64 encoded, so it's, you mean ID. Okay, let's go like this. Let's pull up our favorite hacking friend. He's going to say I can't hack stuff. Oh, no, he did. To retrieve. The IV value, on the other hand, is used for encrypting and decrypting the session data stored in the server. It uses strong encryption algorithms to secure session data, and the IV is an essential part of that encryption process. When a user sends a request to the app, the session cookie with the session ID is included in the request. It uses session ID to retrieve the corresponding session data. By storing this securely in the server, it ensures that each user's data remains. If this encrypted value is being passed by an unauthenticated user, it should still be considered sensitive. Even though the data is encrypted, it's always best to treat any user-provided data as potentially sensitive until it's been properly authenticated and validated. Session management is designed to protect session data, including the IV value from unauthorized access. Nevertheless, it's important to ensure. So maybe that's just how this app is working. It's kind of what I'm reading from that. That might be a rabbit hole if we dig down into that any further. Let's look up October CMS. So it's a self-hosted, blah blah. So yeah, we got some of that information, right? We could actually ask ChatGPT. Open source content management system built on the Laravel, and I'll say that framework. It provides a platform for creating and managing websites, blah blah blah. It's built on top of PHP. Follows a theming system, which we saw that. Content management provides a user-friendly backend interface, plugins. Backend. Does that exist? Did I type that wrong? Oh, yeah. No space. Or no dash. Oh, nope. Nope. Struck out. It's important to note the admin login URL can be customized during the installation process. We did have some documentation. If we open image in new tab, we'll close that for now. Hi, Brenda. Oh, here we go. So if we go back to October. Oh, nope. We have demo. I don't think we had any information in these, if I remember right. README. No. We glanced at this stuff before. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time looking at it. Mimian says, Tyler, maybe look at what happens when you browse the website normally. Then extrapolate that info for finding the admin panel. Look at what happens when you browse the website normally. Okay? We can do that. Let's look at what happens. And let's just monitor each request. So first, if we do this, we are sending this request over, blah, 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 forward. We're going to October index.php. If we go here, we have October index.php. So is it October like backend? No. Okay, never mind. Getting too excited. October index.php. Oh, I think we found it. Hey. Let's drop that in our notes. Let's go back to our web server here. So you guys, we're close to that with the back end, and that's just, use ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a helpful tool. I do want to give a disclaimer on that. For those of you who might be getting into pen testing, although ChatGPT is an incredibly useful tool to help you learn new technologies, research things like we just did to figure out that the admin database is called backend, or the authorization portal is called backend. When you're doing a real assessment, you want to be very careful what you share with ChatGPT. So never share client data. Your clients would not appreciate you sharing their data with a third party, including a ChatGPT. Even though, it claims to be secure, ChatGPT even says don't share sensitive information. So if you're a pen tester, or if you're working to be a pen tester, do not share sensitive client data with a third party without authorization, aka ChatGPT. Yo, what up? Overgrown Carrot. He says, how you doing? Doing well, my friend. We're doing the Red Team Capstone Network. You might be able to help us out on this. I can't recap everything we've already done because I've already recapped it, but you follow along, see if you get what's going on. But we have this. I actually wanted to see, there were some interesting requests here when we first went to it. Maybe that was nothing. Let's go back to this. So we did this initial request. Oh, it's just a 302, just redirecting us to backend auth. That's all it's doing. I thought I might be doing something cooler there. And that's nothing interesting there. Oh, it redirects us again. Redirecting to backend auth sign in. Okay. Backend auth sign in again. And then it finally loads it. So if we just look at the HTML, see if there's anything interesting in here. We have module system, so that's different. Module system is different. Modules backend. Some of these things that are being loaded are different than what we saw before in our assets thing. It's just showing us the back end. We might want to check that out. We have our session key here. We have this token that's being passed. Forgot your password. Layout messages. Okay. So we have this. If we just type admin and admin, just for fun, let's see what this request looks like. So what it's doing is it's passing our session key. It's passing our token. See that there? Post back one, and then it's passing the creds. This is going to fail, I'm sure. See very easily. Doesn't even give us an error message. I don't think. Oh, a user was found to match all plain text credentials. However, hash credential password did not match. A user, oh wow, we have user enumeration. Let me just grab that screenshot and then I'll check out the chat. I see you guys are typing. So let's go like this. Let's highlight the fact that we passed that, and let's highlight that, and we can say, and this is probably different on a red team engagement. You're not reporting every little vulnerability you find, but for my background doing web apps, we would report this as like either an informational or a low vulnerability, saying that there's username enumeration. And just to confirm the username enumeration, if we do a different user, so let's go, we can forward that. And you see it doesn't display it here, and that's the important thing. Often you're looking for just an error message, but you can see if we're just looking for an error message, it's not going to work. And did it actually make that blue? Oh, wow. So it actually kept the username in there. Or my browser, my VM froze. What is going on? No. Oh. Okay. My burp browser froze. All right, I'll look at the chat. Maybe it'll unfreeze. Ami Man says, so maybe just to explain a bit on the weirdness, if you look at the URL, this is weird because technically you are still just viewing the index.php page, but the CMS is grabbing everything you add after index.php and executing it. Oh, I see. And that maybe explains the weird redirects. Gosh, why? There we go. Is it going to work now? Can I type? No. It was like legit frozen there. Oh no, guys. What is going on? Does this work? Having VM issues. Of course, when I am on stream, my VM decides to freeze up. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Like half my screen's working and my other half isn't. And I can't click or type anything. Okay, we're just going to shut everything off. Give it a second. Let's see if we can. Nope. Okay, different idea. Sometimes if we do this, it'll fix it. So you hit input, but I can't hit anything else. Dang it. That's frustrating. That's not TryHackMe's fault, obviously. That's something with my VM. Silly. Okay, 1 second, guys. You get to look at my face. We are going to start my VM back up, I guess, and reconnect everything, unfortunately. The downside of live streaming. It should only take like a minute, though. It shouldn't take too long. Do 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 do. Here we go. It's probably one of you guys attacking. You're breaking the TryHackMe rules, and you somehow DOSed my VM, you dirty hackers. Okay, back into business. Overgrown Carrot said if it's executing it then maybe you can call for PowerShell. I had this freeze happen the other day. Never happened before until yesterday. Restart fixed it. Interesting. Weird. So I'm not the only one. Let's open Burp Suite back up. If I remember right, remember what Amoeba Man said in the intro to the room? He's like, hey, if you can't call the client and say, hey, I can't test your thing because my tool's broke, right? Figure it out, including if your VM crashes. Worst case scenario, you have to rebuild your VM, although I always take snapshots of my VM, so it wouldn't be that big of a deal to rebuild it. Now I wanted to test this. So if I do like that, I should get a different error message. A user was not found with the given credentials. Right? But if I do admin, oops, and anything for our creds, send to repeater, you can see that we have username enumeration because the username was found to match all plain text creds. However, hash credential and then the password did not match. But if you look at it here, when it renders it, it doesn't show that error message. So you're only seeing that if you're monitoring the responses of what is going back and forth. So we know the password is admin. So at this point, we have a few different ways we can approach this. We can brute force the password. I don't know if that would be the right way to do it on this box. We can see what forgot your password does. So if we do forgot your password, it's bringing us to auth restore. I always like to send all my requests to repeater just to see what they look like. We render it here. And then we're just entering in our login. All right. Let's monitor what happens. Maybe we can hijack this and send it to our email. Session key. Thank. I don't know if we're supposed to be able to read it like that. Postback 1 admin login. If we send that to repeater, what does this look like? Ranger said try admin as the password. I think I did, but maybe I didn't. I think I did that initially just when I was testing the username enumeration. Nothing's happening on repeater. What if I proxy it? Is it just going to load? Maybe for, oh, it eventually loaded. Did it just redirect me? What? Message sent to your email address with instructions. Oh, connection cannot be established with host smt mailgun.org. Unable to connect to TCP SMTP mailgun.org. That's like a real, that's a real service, isn't it? I don't think that's part. I think that must just be baked into this October CMS. Oh, maybe not. Mailgun.org. I'm pretty sure that's real. Yeah, okay. We're not going to attack that because that is not within the scope of our engagement. So it must be like the real October CMS must send out an email reset instruction, which is why it took a little bit longer for it to return to us because it wasn't able to send it. So we cannot, from what I can tell, restore the password because that's what we just did. We just clicked restored and then it didn't work. So let me go back to this, go back to this. We could try a brute force. Man said, before you go fully down this rabbit, maybe ask yourself why you want to get admin access to the CMS system. Would be really fun watching you go down this path over multiple streams, get access, and then not know what to do once you get admin. If October is a legit CMS, what is something you can do? So there's two things that come to mind when I think about this. One is like your classic WordPress vuln where you get access to admin on WordPress and you can inject a PHP reverse shell into like the 404 message or into one of the themes. When the theme loads, you get a reverse shell in your machine and you have RCE. That's one way, but that probably doesn't affect October CMS. But what October CMS would do is a content management system. So if we get admin access, we could use it potentially to steal credentials, right? So if we did like, if this is a real web app, and we were able to do like cross-site scripting, we could put a fake login on here, like even on the admin area, fake, well, not admin, I guess wouldn't matter, we'd have the creds, but a fake login area, we could steal creds that way. We could post like a blog that's malicious and instruct employees to go to it, like a more of a phishing attack. That's what comes to my mind as if I was a red teamer and I got access to a content management system. So if there's a classic WordPress vuln, how do you find the equivalent October vuln? Google, bruh. Mayman said, all I'm asking for is a bit of research before you YOLO down the yellow brick road. All right, yeah. So let's look it up. October CMS exploit. What do we have? Arbitrary file read. I don't think we know the version of October CMS, and we could even ask, like, I didn't see that. Oh, try a pending backend. No, I didn't display the version number there. Oh, well. What do we got? Multiple vulnerabilities. We have PHP upload protection bypass, Apache HT access upload, stored ICE WCI and image name reflected, PHP code execution, that sounds good, via asset management, delete file via PHP asset save modification. What's this? Arbitrary file read. Oh, it's authenticated, so we don't have authentication. But if we do get authenticated, we can do file read. Authenticated RCE, that would be good. An authenticated user with the permissions to create, modify, and delete website pages can exploit this vulnerability to bypass CMS safe mode in order to execute arbitrary code. This was patched on here. We don't know when this one was before for sure. So some good things that we would be able to do if we get access to it. And the one thing, guys, I haven't looked at all is the web server. Would be another thing to look at. So we do know that we have admin access here. We know that a valid username is admin. And I think someone told me to try admin. There you go. I'll try admin. It doesn't work. We could try to brute force this. I don't know if there's protections built up for that. But I don't think brute forcing is going to be the most valid way of going about this. If we go to our Capstone Challenge resources, cap password policy, 8 characters long, 1 number. So we could make, what's the password base list? Oh. Did that come? I didn't make that, did I? Oh, I should have looked at these files. So we already had some of these usernames. Oh, I made the usernames. Okay. But I didn't make the password-based list, I don't think. Okay, so we could use some password mangling in order to make passwords that match this password policy with something like John or Hashcat. I'm going completely off memory, but I believe that's possible. Haha, good. I thought ChatGPT was gonna be like, hey, we don't let you do this. All right. John the Ripper with we created a rules list. First, create a text file that contains the custom rules you want to apply to the passwords. Okay, so I'm going to say create a rule list that follows these parameters. And then there were some other things we had to follow. I don't think I took note of this. And yes, what Astrath is saying is there's some special characters that aren't allowed. I remember reading that as well. Should have taken that as a note. That's one thing I didn't take a note on. There it is. I love ChatGPT. Oh, to your Mango rules file. That's right. That's an actual file. Where is it at? Oh, do I have to make it? First, create a rules list. Oh, we make it. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Potato. So make sure it did it correctly first. We're just going to live dangerously. I freaking hate, I'm blanking on what this is called. We're just going to try it and see what happens. We'll know whether it did or not when we look at the password list. Specifies 1 digit should be present. Specifies at least 1 special character. But how about... Yeah, rejects. That's what it is. Yeah, we want a default length as well. Because it was default length of 8, right? And 1 number. You forgot the 1 number, you silly robot. Oh, wait, no, he had a 1 number. Yeah, okay. Okay, so there it is. So now if we do John, rules, Mango rules, like that, rules equals my rules, and then the path to the password file, right? Which was, what was it? Password base list. Okay. You're right, that is duplicate. I don't... Bruh. Real hacker would look at like the help page. Script kiddies like me go like this. You should only specify the rules option once and provide the rule set name as a parameter. Bruh, you did it again. He did it twice. That didn't work. Does not have a native option directly specify a rule. Instead, you need to include the rules directly in the command or use a separate configuration file. I don't think he knows what he's talking about. Paste paste the rules into the terminal and press enter. I don't think that works. All right, we'll entertain ChatGPT, but I don't think he knows what he's talking about. Ranger's saying doing it this way. Isn't that kind of what I already did? Let's try ChatGPT's weird way. Silly ChatGPT, that doesn't work. Oh my goodness. How about Hashcat? I know I have rules double, but even when you don't double rules, it doesn't work. Okay, so crunch. Let's use crunch. For example, generate a password. The length ranges from 8 to 12 characters. Including lowercase letters, numbers, and special characters, you can use the following command. Oh my goodness. All right. You know what, ChatGPT, you suck. Wordless mode, single crack. How do we make a password list? Rules. John the Ripper rules page is a guide for installing the core logic password generation rules from the DEF CON. A rule is a way for John. Here's an example of a rule that appends years to passwords. The rule is named core logic rules append years. Let's apply the rule to a Rocky password list. First, a quick look at the list. Core logic, blah, blah, using rules. To use the rule, for example, the core logic rules, we can call John with the rules, core logic rules argument, or the rules. Okay. Isn't it equals? What? Gosh, it's almost at the end of my stream. I've gotten nothing this stream. We're going to spend every night arguing with ChatGPT. I'm not doing it this way. All right, we're going to pause here, and I'm going to look at the web server. Or not the web server, the mail server. We'll go down that rabbit hole later. Let's look at the mail server. And we'll come back to this with a fresh mind. Ranger gave you the correct syntax. Did he? All right, let's try it. Word list equals. So password base list.text. Oh, rule, not rules. Is that what I did wrong? I don't remember what I called my rule. John word list equals password base list. Rule equals mangle rules. What am I doing wrong? What's polo password? Are you just demonstrating that as an example? Or is polo password real? Like I really have to type that? So this should work then based on your syntax you're passing me. Because it's in the current directory. I can even try to like do it this way. Peace out, Ascrath. Thanks for joining, my friend. You got this. You got more confidence in me than I do, but it's fine. We're having fun. Even if we don't get anywhere else, we're at least having fun. Right? The journey, what the win is in the journey or something. Oh, wow. There's a lot of stuff open on this mail server. Oh my goodness. That looks interesting to say the least. Doesn't it, my friends? We're switching gears. I'm done with this dumb password list because I don't know if it'll work to brute force the admin stuff. We're going to do this. Maybe I'll come back to the dumb password list later. This is where I reach out to a senior pen tester and say, bruh, I'm stuck. Save me. Do dash. Oh. Oh, gosh. Come on, dude. Tyler, what are you doing, bruh? You can't specify an A port. Crazy dude. And I hope like what's running on port 80 is just like a login to the mail server. Wouldn't that be amazing if it was? We'll have to brute force that stuff, but we'll do it methodically. I mean, it says law as if I'd make it that easy, Tyler. Yeah, dude, make it easy on us. We could do like command line to authenticate to the mail server on port 110 for pop 3 or 25 or something. But let's just check all this out. This looks like some juicy stuff. I wish I would have looked at this earlier. I didn't realize how many ports are going to be running on this mail server. So let's on here go like this, and we have SSH, we have 22 SMTP. We can authenticate with that. We could also download a web client. Is it Evolution or something? Hold up, I'm gonna totally go on a tangent here and not do my normal enumeration right away because I'm running out of time. But we'll be back tomorrow. Donkey Pounder. Yeah, I know I do have valid email creds. So that's why I figured I can authenticate to the email. There's like a GUI one called, is it Evolution? Gosh. Evolution Mail. That's what I'm thinking of. I was right initially. We copied all that into OneNote, right? Yeah. No, I'm just going to do this. Scrub. Don't tell me to do ChatGPT, you freaking loser. Come on. We don't have all night. We have like 15 minutes. And then I'm calling it a night till tomorrow. Beautiful. All right, let's pull up our notes. We'll say, this is our username. Get our email address. email address. Oh, come on, I don't have numlock on. Oh, if we look at oh shoot, it's lightning here. Lose internet. You don't have like secure stuff turned on, right? We have IMAP 143 is what we want, I think. Not POP3. 143. And then I think I can drop just the IP here. It's thundering outside, my friends. Check for support. $25. Oh, that's a good sign. Here's our password. Oh, shoot, it made me until my username's incorrect. Do I need this whole thing? We got connected. We have an email from Amoeba Man. Dude, Amoeba Man, thank you for the email. Usually you message me on Discord. Hi there. My name is Amoeba Man, and I'm the head of security for the Reserve and your main point of contact for this engagement. I'm super excited that we finally have approval for this engagement. I have been preaching to XCO on how we need to improve our security. I hear that the project scope has already been shared with you. Please take careful note of these details and make sure they remain within scope for the engagement, or I will yell at you on stream. You should have included that. I will be in touch as you progress through the engagement. Best of luck. Do everything in our junk. Can I email you back? He says, I can't email him back, but he's a very, very busy head of security. Yeah, let's just fish this Amoeba Man, dude. Probably a noob, I'd guess. Probably fall for anything. Oh, man. All right. Let's, we have access to email. I wish I would have done that sooner. That's exciting that we got that to work right away. Let's, that's my music. About to call it a night, my friends, before the storm outside calls it a night for me. But let's go ahead and organize our notes first before we call it a night. And I'll show you guys how I do my notes in a moment. Right now, what I do on the main page of each server is just split out these services so they're easier for me to look at. And then I just drop like the SMB stuff. I move all the SMB ports together right there. And now we will go like this. We'll say SSH 22. Make subpage. And we're going to do this for each thing running. I know it's a little bit annoying, but why would you go down there? You silly OneNote. But it'll make it a lot easier as we want a quick glance at what services are running. And as we enumerate each service, we'll record our notes underneath that page here. Just keep running through this. And like I said, guys, I'll be back. At least my plan is I'll be back tomorrow night around 9 p.m. Central Time. And so usually when I stream, guys, I was only streaming once a week. And when I would stream, I would go a lot longer. But because I'm going to be online like every night, just so I don't burn myself out from talking for so long, I'm making my streams a little bit shorter, but we're going to be doing them more often. This is an addition. I work full-time as a web app pen tester, and I also have a wife and kids. So I wait to do this stuff until they're in bed, and then usually I got to get up and work my normal job the next day, although my normal job is awesome. But it can become a lot trying to balance all this. You know, even though I get this fat paycheck from TryHackMe, I told my wife today we were going out for supper, and I was like, yeah, TryHackMe sent out an email about me being on stream, and like they called me an influencer. And I told her, I was like, don't influencers usually like make money for being an influencer? I make $0 from anything I do. So I'm a pretty bad influencer. So if you guys know of any like sponsors who want to pay me money to like mention their name every once in a while, send them my name, because I'm an influencer that doesn't influence cash in any way, shape, or form. And we got RDP. All right. Jeez, we got a lot. Why? So a few things I noticed right away, and we'll close at this a little bit. Generally speaking, you don't want all these things to be internet facing. Some of it would have to be, but like MySQL, you don't want your MySQL database being internet facing. You don't want RDP being internet facing. We could use Crowbar. We could try to take it down in that way. Like in my pen testing job, I do web apps, I do APIs, and I do external networks. What an external network pen test is, it's honestly a little bit boring, but you'll get a large range of IPs from a client, sometimes upwards of 500 to 1,000 IPs, and you'll do like Nessus scan, Nmap, stuff like that, and you're really just looking for any interesting ports. Most of the public IPs have nothing interesting open, but you'll report even basic things like SSH. If the SSH allows password and username, you'll write that up as an informational finding saying, hey, that's not a good idea. Like you should only do like key access to your SSH server. If they had like a MySQL server open, that'd be a pretty big deal for an actual client. You definitely don't want that to be internet facing, at least from my experience. But guys, we are going to call it a night. Let me look over at chat. Donkey said, did Laura ever get fired for her behavior? Amoeba Man says he clicky all links. That's how he keeps things interesting for the SOC team. Good. That's good leadership. Ventral said, I learned a lot tonight. Thanks for the stream. Keep it up, bro. Thank you, my friend. Even when we get stuck and a little bit frustrated, we did not get stuck. We got access to email. We have a good starting spot for our stream tomorrow night. Vinny said, thanks for the stream. You're welcome, my friend. Uber King Kong said, like the AI chat helping you figure this stuff out. Cool to see using AI to help out. Dude, I use AI all the time in my normal day-to-day job. Obviously, as you saw on stream tonight, AI is not always reliable. Sometimes you have to yell at AI. 1ZZ said, you're famous now. Famous, y'all. Come to DEF CON, I'll give you guys my autograph. I am going to DEF CON for the very first time this year with my team at Rhino Security Lab. So truly, if any of you are going to DEF CON, connect with me on Discord. I will drop the link for the Work Smarter Discord one more time. We'll love for you guys to join me there. As I shared before, I will not be live on here on Monday night because I host a meeting there on Monday nights that anyone's invited to about goals and accountability and cybersecurity. So join that Discord. But surely, if any of you are going to be at DEF CON this year, we'd love to meet you. It'll be my first year. I don't really know what to expect, but let's meet up in Vegas. Let's hang out and let's chat. Potato said, maybe the money is the friends we earned along the way. You are absolutely right. And some of you said you already joined. The only year I don't go. Yeah, Donkey. So, but here's the thing, dude. Now that I finally have made it as a pen tester, so my job at Rhino, I'm fully remote. So no travel is required for me. If we do like physical assessments, which we do occasionally, it's totally up to the pen tester if they want to go. Right now, I just don't want to travel because I want to be present to my kids. I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, and they're way more important to me than going around the world hacking stuff. So my job's fully remote. I just work from home, but we have our one in-person meetup every year, and that is DEF CON. So I will be at DEF CON every single year. This will just be my first year. So if you're not here this year, my friend, hopefully I'll be able to see you next year. OneZZ said you are to sign my t-shirt. Remember you promised. All right, dude. You sign my t-shirt and I'll sign your t-shirt. We'll sign each other's t-shirts. Hey guys, truly thank you for hanging out with me tonight. I really appreciate it. We are at 10:30, about the end of the stream. So just remember, join me again tomorrow around 9 o'clock Central Time, and we will trudge through this for another hour and a half and slowly work our way through this network. The one win that we have today is we did a little more on the web server. We found the admin portal, so that's kind of a small win. We could make a custom password list to attack that, but I'm going to hold off for now. But we found this mail server, and we might spend the entire next stream just enumerating each one of these services, and I'll do my best to show you guys like proper enumeration and information gathering as we poke at these services and see what we get access to. So guys, thank you for hanging out. I will catch you guys in the next one. See ya.